Hey guys, I hope you guys are having an awesome day. Gosh, it's so beautiful here. It's almost 70, and we're in November 8th, right? So that's pretty great. Tomorrow my daughter is 21, so that's pretty amazing, you know. Um, but I hope that you guys are doing super awesome and getting out and enjoying that wherever you may be. I don't know where you live, but I'm in Wisconsin, so right now this is definitely a day to cherish. So beautiful out. I hope that you guys are finding some interesting and fun things to do. Being stuck inside today, I found a really cool puzzle. Constellations. I haven't done puzzle in a really long time, so look at this. It's going to be pretty cool. It's got constellations and it's pretty neat, right? And then it's got the wonders of the stars on the back. So pretty neat. It's 1,000 pieces, so I imagine that'll probably take me like, I don't know, a couple years. Who knows how long. Maybe I'll update you guys when I start doing that, right? But I hope that you're doing super good and sending good peace and love to you. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm going to go ahead and pick up where I left off on Gift of the Red Bird. She was just beginning her vision quest. And for those of you who don't know or haven't listened to other parts of the story, this is a true spiritual encounter. She had lost her wife, she had lost her husband and her daughter in a car accident. She survived, and speaking of the pieces of her life, and she, sharing part of her spiritual encounter she had through that time of healing and growth, moving into new parts of her life. So we were on chapter 5, and the last part I read was we were on day Sunday where she was, and today is day Monday. So this was in May of 1989. So here we go. Monday. Dawn. This is it. I woke up at dawn and want to sleep. No one will ever know when or if I leave Lodestar. Why not get a long rest? I peek out the window and the words of Hazel's prayer keep returning to me. Go when the morning shineth. A fly circles my head mercilessly. 2 nights ago, my first night at Lodestar, I woke up in the middle of the night hearing my name spoken. I wasn't frightened by that. It felt like an affirmation that I've been called here. This trip is not my idea. God has beckoned me to follow him into the wilderness and to trust that I will be protected. Why does he spend time caring about my one small life? I don't know, but he does draw me. Suddenly I have this deep awareness of myself as a soul who is being led somewhere. I get up out of bed and prepare to go. As I begin to collect my gear, I realize that getting to my spot is going to be very difficult. I foolishly refused a friend's offer of a backpack. I must have thought I was Superwoman. Now as I stare at my tent, sleeping bag, water jugs, and pack, I see the full consequence of my pride. There will be no way to do this in one trip. I have 2 hands and 3 loads. Isn't this amazing how much this story is so relative to our spiritual lives, like what we deal with inside, right? I mean, I think so anyway. It's amazing. This journey will have to be made in stages. Great. I will have plenty of time to think about how I refuse help. I am seeing myself already. I start off taking 1/3 of my items, 1/4 of a mile down the dirt road. Then I retrace my steps and bring the 2nd load that far. Finally, the 3rd. I am not going to forget this lesson quickly. At first, it is still breezy and pleasant, and I compliment myself on the early start. But in no time, the level road disappears. I am hiking up vertical terrain. The sun is scorching, and I want to die. I keep at it. As I cross the dam, I rest and notice the trees rising out of the water. I look into the water and see how the trees have bonded with the algae and plant life. Aren't I out here to learn how I bond to God? Nature bonds, but it does not cling. I surprise myself by saying that out loud. It's a sudden observation. I look at the trees for a while. As I watch, I begin to see that everything around me, the trees, rocks, river, flowers, everything simply and profoundly yielded. With the knowing comes a wave of peace. The earth is yielded to God. The inner calm unlocks my memory. I will lift up my eyes until the hills. Psalm 121. I read it before going on and weep. Back to work. I cannot believe the physical cost of this journey. It felt like 103 degrees, even in the shade. I am soaked to the skin with perspiration, exhausted, hungry, and still not there. Not nearly there. This time 3 repetition of every step I take is killing me. It makes the road seem endless. I want to scream in frustration. I am ready to forget everything and go back. Then it occurs to me that this may be the awful struggle. Then it occurs to me that maybe this awful struggle is actually an important lesson. I let my heart open and listen. Aren't I feeling with every footstep what every man and woman feels when they are calling to achingly repeat the same tasks day after day? I put down my tent and sleeping bag and retrace my steps to pick up my jugs of water. I am the migrant worker in the fields, picking beans, or the teacher repeating the same lecture while few pay attention. I get the water jugs to their destination and walk back a 3rd time to get my pack. I am on an auto assembly line, or a parent getting up in the middle of the night for a crying child, the same task again and again. In my bones and in my blisters, I feel the weight of obedience to the sameness, which is unavoidable in all of our lives. I am dripping in sweat. The ankle splint from a recent sprain cuts into me, but my skin is alive with a taste of my brothers and sisters' burdens. I see that we are not separate, and their faithfulness moves me to tears. And then, in a single moment, I am flooded with love. Suddenly, I feel the love God has for all people as we live in our insignificant lives and perform our routine tasks. Compassionate, warm, tender love pours down on me and washes over me. I cannot explain it, but it is real and so tangible that it begins to lift me. I am still tired and hungry and doubtful of ever reaching my spot. Yet this love picks me up and I am in its grip. I see how God honors simple obedience to our small tasks. I feel love all over me, ahead of me, behind me, above me, beneath me. I feel it in the wind. There is no way not to be affected by such a power. I continued my tiresome, trudging trek, but it now has become almost a dance, a gift I give. The voice which says, "Come into my wilderness." It is more loving than any I have ever known. So good. See, it's so beautiful here. I'm like half in the sun and half so beautiful. That's not giving too much of a reflection to somebody. I hope it feels actually really, so good sitting in the sun reading to you. I just don't want to move out of it. I reach my spot and pitch the tent. Before coming, I obsessed about the possibilities of cold and rain, never giving a thought to heat and wind. Naturally, that's what I'm suffering with now. The heat is oppressive. The wind blows so hard, I'm not sure the tent will stay up. I am also feeling bored, something I cannot believe. Boredom never happens to me. But I am feeling bored and alone and would give anything for some human companionship. In spite of what I've already experienced, I feel uninterested now in learning more, in observing nature, in anything. I can't seem to get settled, and I wish this were over. I keep thinking that what I really want is food. Nature is noisy. The birds and insects never stop their calling and cawing. Even the wind has a sound. I never noticed that before. Why is all of creation singing? I see nothing to sing about right now. I am lonely and I feel depressed. I can't believe myself as I write this. I'm used to loving my aloneness, not to missing people. As I write, a brilliant red bird flies by and takes my breath away. I feel angry at my campsite. How dare it be so distant, so remote, so apart? I thought I'd love it, but I hate it. Lodestar feels like a distant planet. I could just get up and return there. I could be feasting on fruit and muffins. I really won't last through this. I stare at a tree alone, all alone. A tree all alone couldn't make it. It has to have soil and sunlight and rain. If it's true in nature, it must be true for me. I couldn't make it all alone. I'm interconnected, and I need others for my survival. Is that why I feel so wretched now? I'd rather have the fear back because compared to this terrible loneliness, fear looks good. I feel as if someone has taken a baseball bat and slugged me in the chest. I ache with being alone. It's so beautiful out. God, what is this about? If I know how much I need others, doesn't that lead me to cling more and not less? Or are you trying to show me that the deep need I feel for others isn't bad? The issue is how the need gets filled. Clinging will not fill the need. It will only fill the space. If I don't cling, will you care for me just as you care for the tree? I sigh. I am always afraid I will not be taken care of, so I try to satisfy my needs before I truly feel them. I'm afraid that if I don't orchestrate this, my needs won't be met. I run my hand over the rocky soil at my feet. It occurs to me that my need for connectedness is as old as the earth. God, are you the only one who will ever completely satisfy the longing inside of me? Will every other person, place, and thing fall short? Will my clinging take me in the wrong direction? Should I be more like the tree, yielded to you, trusting? And if I am, will you respond? I think this is the longest day of my life. 89 hours have surely passed, but I can tell by the sun that this is only a little past noon. I'm getting warm in the sun. Let's see. Sorry about that. I'm loving the sun, but I'm starting to get toasty. It feels so good. I hope you're enjoying. I hope you have the sun wherever you are, and if the sun's not out, well, I hope I'm bringing you some sunshine. So, I think this is the longest day of my life. 89 hours sure have passed, but I can tell by the sun that it's only a little past noon. My mind comes to struggle. If the point is to yield to God, then why bond to others at all? How does it benefit me? As I ask the question, a flock of birds fly in V formation over my head. A family of deer scamper through the bushes. They remind me that I am not a single soul. I am part of a whole creation of relations. It affects the birds if two of them leave the V formation. The safety of the deer is compromised if one or two deer leave their habitat. Is it not different for me? My choices have meaning for others too. If I live in this consciousness, I know I will weigh all of my words and actions differently. I am not used to thinking of myself in relation beyond my family and community. I think I am able to do things which affect no one but me. I'm staring at the river, thinking that I would give anything for the sound of a human voice. I watch the water and think of letting love flow through me instead of trying to hold on to it. The supply is from God. There will be enough. I hear rustling in the leaves behind me and brace myself for an encounter with a large animal. I turn slowly and look over my shoulder. It is an animal, but a human one. He draws closer and I see his blue shirt and the name Gabe written over his pocket. My first reaction is despair. A quest is supposed to be solitary, and if I interact with someone, mine will be spoiled. I'm still agonizing when I hear his voice. Still, several feet behind me, says, "Hello?" Gabe is employed by the Lady Lodge and is responsible, with others, for the care of the grounds. Aware that a woman was camping alone out there, he felt led to check on me. For a while, he too silently watches the river, still staying several feet behind me. Finally, he says, "God is all around you here, everywhere." Softly I reply, "Yes, I know." But obviously I don't know, at least not fully enough. If I did know, there would have been no need for God to send this man to assure me. He waits a while longer, and I hope he doesn't see my tears. The power of everything is amplified in these woods. I love what she said, where she said, "Yes, I know." And then she said, "If I did know, there would have been no need for God to send this man to assure me." I like that. True. The power of everything is amplified in these woods. The beauty of human contact, my recognizing my need for it, God's mysterious supply of it, his taking care of me, is almost more than I can contain. As I fight to control my emotions, Gabe says, "Is the walkie-talkie they gave you working?" Why would he ask that question? In fact, it isn't. It was the first thing I tested when I got to my spot. "No," I say. I suspected that. He replies, I can't even entertain the origin of his suspicion. His knowing I am fighting hard for control as it is. He walks toward me and hands me his radio, which does work, and walks quietly away. After he leaves, I can't stop crying. I weep because God has just demonstrated that he will take care of me. I weep because he treats me so gently. I weep because he knows me by name. I weep because birds are dancing in circles over my head, showing me that there is nothing greater to do than join the love song of creation. I see that this quest of mine is being designed by God in great detail. The book says the quest must be solitary. God thought otherwise. He gave me what I needed. The redbird sings at my feet as I drink water for my dinner. It is enough. As darkness approaches, I notice that one of the trees behind me is half living and half dead. I wonder why. And inwardly hear the tree explained that she divided against herself. I think about the voices of criticism I often listen to inside my head, but I never thought about the consequence of listening to them. Do they divide me? This day feels so endless, the time won't pass. It inches along just to torture me. I felt so much loneliness today, partly loneliness for people, but more so inner loneliness, I think. The Gethsemane place, for a while, I felt so depressed. I wanted to leave. I kept wondering if I am doing it right, which implies, I guess, that I think there is a right way to do it. That's definitely a Paula thought. I feel hungry and weak, and I keep thinking there are 2 more days and nights ahead of me. God help me. Right now I am weary in every way. Night comes, I watch the river being soothed by the wind. I feel physically weak and tired, but inwardly strong, if that is possible. I'm learning the depth of some needs I haven't even named or fully recognized. And I'm awed at the way the earth is teaching me about the interconnectedness of it all. I was afraid of the cold, and I've been baked in the heat. I was afraid of big, creepy, crawly bugs. And it's been fire ants, 1 millimeter in length, which have gotten my attention. I feared rain, thunder, and lightning, and have only felt the wind as my constant companion. I also feared the day would never end, but now, at last, it has. I think that's just an awesome spot to stop at right now. And I hope you enjoyed part of that reading. It's so good. So much meaning and all of that to me. I hope that, so we just finished, we're still in chapter 5, and we read Sunday and Monday. That was the first day of her beginning her trip. So then we pick up on Tuesday. The sun, these clouds are coming over the sun, and it's just so beautiful and peaceful out today. So I hope everybody's having a beautiful day whenever you see or read this. And hopefully you're finding some peace and goodness. I'm bringing you some. Thank you so much for being here, and I will be back soon, of course, with other things and another reading. And we never know now, do we? So I love you guys, and I'm bringing you so much healing. Always, you can count on that as I'm reading to you. Good energy, and good vibes and healing are always coming through. Always bringing that to you before I even sit down to make my videos. So I always check my energy, and it is always something that is important that we need to remember to do before any contact that we have, whether we make a phone call or something like this, is check your energy and make sure you're in a balanced and peaceful place, because whatever energy you have is going to carry over. So, and if it's good, then that's what we want, right? So it's always good to see you. Live your life. Live your life. Love your life. Peace, love, and goodness, and healing, and prayers, good balance, rest. Good thoughts, good things, right? Think it and you will be it. See you guys soon. Thank you for being here.